you have a background in fintech, pre-AI, now you're in AI, and you're doing a lot of business with banks, financial services companies. One point of difference with Anthropic maybe is you really focus on the enterprise customer, and you did it early, but give me a sense of the split, how much business you're doing with the banks and other financial services groups.
Well, Ed, great to see you again. Thanks so much for having me on the program. So, Anthropic really has the opportunity to support enterprises really across a wide array of different industries. So, healthcare, legal services, financial services have really all been early enterprise customers for us. And we really believe this is in large part because of our focus on really building for businesses. Financial services has always been a cornerstone pillar for Anthropic as we have really built and expanded the Claude models.
How are banks or investment firms using your large language models?
So much of what we've seen, especially over the course of the past year, is really these companies becoming more sophisticated about how they are integrating a tool like Claude. In particular, we're seeing many of these financial services and fintech companies using Claude for things like fraud detection,
right,
financial analysis, really partnering with their analysts on a wide array of different complex financial tasks. Customer support is also a use case that is really applicable across a wide array of financial services companies, as well as administrative support. And so businesses like Jane Street, Bridgewater, Intuit, Stripe, and Coinbase are all customers that make use of Claude for many of the applications that I just mentioned.
Stripe, somewhere you used to work?
Something I know about.
Something known to you. What I understand from speaking to a lot of those that either working in banking or in investment or asset management is you have the sort of data security component and then the regulatory component. Why is it that they trust you with both of those pieces?
So Anthropic has always had a very strong stance on trustworthiness, reliability, privacy, and security of the systems that we are developing. And something we feel very strongly about is that privacy of data is an incredibly critical component of companies feeling comfortable using generative AI. So we have never trained on customer data by default, and we have always worked to integrate closely with our partners at AWS and GCP on the security side as well.
In terms of regulation, there has been news in the past week, which is the UK's Competition and Markets Authority is looking at Google's partnership or investment in Anthropic. How are you working with the CMA to address their concerns?
So we are fully cooperating with the CMA to share all requested information. And fundamentally, Anthropic is an independent company. We operate in this new generative AI space and offer our models non-exclusively on our first party, via our consumer app, on Google GCP via Vertex, and also on Amazon Bedrock.
Daniela, I would say from a technology perspective, many are obsessed with agents at the moment, and your agentic tool is computer use. It's different. Why did you take that approach to basically having an agent that can look at what's on your screen, the actual hardware in front of you, and then engage with it?
We really feel, first of all, that this technology is an incredible sort of potential leap forward for what these models will eventually, we think, be able to do. And we've been very open that we think this is still in beta, right? We've very much sort of shared there's still limitations of the technology, but we felt it was really important to release it to our customers today because there's so much potential for computer use to really transform how people use a tool like Claude, right? You can imagine this much more complex assistant that is able to really partner with you either by taking more complex actions on your computer or on the web. You can imagine this eventual virtual coworker really expanding what is humanly possible for people to achieve.
There is a great gathering here in Vegas of your customers. Some of them will be in the room later today, but also investors, people that are users of Claude and the various products you've shipped. How active are you in running the business of Anthropic right now, Daniela? Raising money yourself, managing the compute costs versus pricing on your enterprise products?
So Anthropic, like every company that is sort of operating in this space, requires a huge amount of compute to be able to really do the transformative research that we do. And so our researchers are constantly working to help optimize our compute and make sure that we're using the hardware as efficiently as possible.
The cost of a new model.
The cost of a new model, exactly. And we're really finding ways, in this sort of incredible research field to help optimize how we're using these models, coming up with new research innovations that are really driving the pace of the generative AI innovation in general.
Can we anticipate you raising more money?
As is the case, I'm sure you can imagine, we are always, looking to have conversations like that, but not actively fundraising right now.
Less talked about is Anthropic also has a unique company structure. Are you happy with that structure? Do you envisage it evolving over time?
So Anthropic is a public benefit corporation, and a little bit different, but pretty close. A public benefit corporation is actually a pretty well-established corporate entity. It's very similar to a C corporation. It is a form of C corporation, but it enables a company like Anthropic to be able to also prioritize its social impact mission in addition to all of the normal corporate activities that we engage in.
We are about a week away from an election in this country. How is Anthropic preparing for that? But also, do you have a sense of how customers, consumer customers or enterprise customers actually use some of the underlying models or tools they build on top of it in the context of the election? Maybe they don't.
So Anthropic recently released a blog post really detailing all of the work that we are doing on election integrity. This is a topic where Anthropic has really been an industry leader. We have been working on election integrity and anti-misinformation efforts for well over a year. And in the course of doing that work, we have partnered very, very closely with both other industry actors, but also civil society groups, really experts in this incredibly important area that we aim, again, to sort of be an industry leader in sort of setting the waterline for.